20 years ago, I had my first paranormal experience, and then 10 years later, I told that story on a brand new YouTube channel I was calling Haunting Season. You see, a few friends and I back in high school went to Hilltop one night, an abandoned old age facility that burned up with the patients inside in New Jersey where I was growing up. This story launched my passion project, turned me into a writer and a scary storyteller, and connected me to an entire community of people that I now think of as family. And now, 20 years later, as I inch closer to 500,000 followers between YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, and TikTok, I'm taking a look back at the footage that has been sitting on my hard drive for so many years. I'm revisiting the story, the footage itself, and the follow-up interviews with my friends that I did to see who I was, how the memories hold up, and if I still believe what I saw and heard all those years ago. This is the beginning of a new chapter of Haunting Season, an exploration into the things that scare us the most, an exploration of my own expression and personality, of mental health, the paranormal, the past, and the great beyond. So turn out the lights, find a safe hiding place, and fall in to Haunting Season. The year was 2003, and my friends and I were...
It's the scariest freaking place in all Parsippany. Is this Parsippany?
It's Montville.
That's Montville.
Well, we were idiots, to put it bluntly. We idolized the Jackass crew who had just released their first movie under that name. And when we weren't filming sketches, hitting each other with cars, or lighting firecrackers and smacking them with hockey sticks, we were either skateboarding or passing around Weird New Jersey magazine. Do you remember those? I got 2 delivered to my office recently for a project I'm developing, and they are in mint condition. But the way I remember them was crumpled from being hidden in backpacks and folded into back pockets and being passed from person to person throughout the entire school. They were our underground contraband of the dead that told us stories about ghosts and haunted locations and the devil. And if your parents found you with one of these, you would be in big trouble. They were full of stories written from readers across the state and stories that were told from the authors Mike Scarman and Mark Moran after they visited so many of these sites in person. This was the spooky fuel that made us want to do something dangerous.
Let me break down who was there. There was a guy named Dan, a bodybuilder type, very tough, very rugged. What would you do if a ghost popped up right in front of you and be like, I'll punch him in the face?
I don't give a shit. I will put up a fight. You shoot me, you better be able to fucking kill me one shot or you're a dead motherfucker.
Next down the line, there was Mike. What he wanted to do with his life is become a cop, but he also had an emotional side. You know, we like acted in some plays together.
I got all kinds of stories and crazy stuff up there in my head, and but I still think about this story, about Hilltop.
Then we had Guy. He absolutely wasn't a wuss, but he was a little bit of a terrified kind of guy when you got too far into it.
The night we went to Hilltop, we probably were just bored, looking for something to do. I remember Mike and I were really into Weird New Jersey at the time. That was probably how we had the idea to go to Hilltop.
And there was me, who tried to be tough but was really a wuss. Something you should know about this building is it's got 5 floors and an attic, and the attic is where the fire started. If you go up to the 5th floor, apparently you can see New York City from there. That was our goal of going in here, was not only to kind of freak ourselves out, but to see New York City from like the vantage point. We go up to this place, right? We park like 5 or 6 blocks away because technically it's illegal to go into these places. We squeeze through the gate. There's about a human-sized gap, and we start climbing up this huge hill, and the snow was like up to our knees, and it was ice on top, and we crunched through every step of the way.
This is Hilltop.
Up ahead of you is Hilltop. Right now the camera can't see it.
Before we get too far, I want to take a moment to mention today's sponsor. I know, how exciting, but this one is really cool. A few buddies and I are curating spooky horror movie nights for Shout TV this October, and alongside me will be Stony the Great, B-Star Cinema, Manaside, Before the Coffin, Monstrous, and a bunch of others. My night is October 28th, and I'll be showing a double feature of Bad Moon and Plan 9 from Outer Space. Bad Moon is a kick-ass werewolf movie from 1996 that has one of the best screen lycanthrope transformations of all time. Half man, half wolf. total terror. So once we get done screaming at Bad Moon, then we'll ease into a much different film, one of Ed Wood's most iconic and Bela Lugosi's final film, Plan 9 from Outer Space, where aliens are resurrecting people as zombies and vampires to stop humans from creating some sort of explosive device. If it sounds chaotic, then you haven't heard about Ed Wood's iconic shooting style of single takes. All the mistakes are left in this one. You can even see one of the actors knock over a fake tombstone. It's going to be a really fun night. Heck, it's going to be a really fun month on Shout TV with 31 nights of horror. Okay, so we were young. We were in high school, and we were all vying to be tougher than the other person. But the truth is, we were scared as hell.
We're walking up to Hilltop, and I remember looking at the top window and just seeing something there. And I'm pretty sure I was the first one to draw people's attention to the window.
You can't go in then. You can't go in if someone's in there. Back up, hold up. We can't go in because if anyone else can see that, that's a fucking person. Holy shit.
That's a fucking dead person. Their skin's white as hell.
Dude, bro, it's fucking creepy. Something up in there.
It was kind of good knowing that I wasn't the only one seeing that. Then we went into this side entrance. It was kind of like the entrance was built into the foundation. Big metal door, and it was just kind of pried open a little bit.
We made our way inside, and we could already feel the size of this place. Rooms and hallways shooting off in all directions. Giant heating systems like in the end of The Shining, and the laundry machines in a whole row in the other room, and debris and graffiti everywhere.
We make our way around, and the place has obviously been graffitied, vandalized by homeless people or whoever, vagrants, miscreants. We weren't there for that. We were there just to check it out, knowing full well how pretty stupid and dangerous it probably was. But our curiosity went past all that common sense stuff. Something was watching after us that night to not get seriously hurt or arrested.
The first really strong memory that I have every time I think about this place was finding the paperwork there in the basement and just leafing through it and realizing for the first time in my life that psychiatric facilities and homes for the elderly may not be safe places for people to live out their days.
Right here, we got paperwork of people who died, paperwork of people who overdosed.
Really?
Yeah, everything. Everything is right in here.
Whoa, look at this. Treatment and or destruction method. How they kill the people.
This isn't bad.
Environmental protection.
I remember picking up a piece of paper, and up at the top was a warning saying that if the EPA were to investigate, that these records were to be destroyed.
You guys, biohazard material, look.
They don't be touching that shit. You don't know what the fuck.
What, in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fuck that.
Yo, guys.
What was that? Stop. Noise out in the hallway. Definite noise out in the hallway. Come on. Damn. I'm paying attention to what's up in front.
You spilled syringes all over the floor.
Oh shit.
Oh, carpet.
They were used, bro.
Yo,
I'm stepping on like 6 of them.
Used syringes. Stop.
don't.
You get stabbed with one of them, you can be fucking infected.
This feels like the perfect moment for me to reflect on how stupid it is to trespass. For one, you could get shot by the property owner or security or the cops just for being in there. Two, you could get severely injured by the environment that you're in. I mean, we're stepping on needles here, but think about this place had been through a fire. The floor could collapse, the walls could come down. You just don't know. You could scare someone who's living in there or someone doing drugs in there, and they could feel like they have to defend themselves and get violent. You could get an attachment from a spirit. There were plenty of safe ways to do this, to explore buildings that no longer have a purpose, but go through the proper channels. Like my friends at Charm City Paranormal. Their investigation team connects with the owners of the properties to gain safe and exclusive access to places so that they can explore and look for spirits and peace. Charm City Paranormal makes some of the best investigation videos on the internet. If you haven't subscribed to them, you totally should, but I digress. Where were we? Memories. The next memory that really hits me when I think about Hilltop is the weird little corridor that was just past the room with the documents. It was just wide enough for you to get through with the width of your shoulders, and there was no way I was going down there.
There was like this little tiny corridor, like shoulder to shoulder wide. Dan, the the big buff guy, he goes like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go down there, I'm gonna go check it out. And we're like, okay, yeah, but we're not going with you.
What does that say? That's the only hallway that we didn't want to go down. M and E, I can R.
R is obviously room.
Mental room?
Medical room.
Check it out.
The ceiling, please. Okay.
Someone's gotta go in there. I'll go in there.
With
I
the
have an
camera?
idea.
Want to go in?
I'll go in.
I'll go in with you.
I'll go in. Who gives someone a radio?
Hey, if you both are going in, leave a flashlight.
I
I'm
know.
coming too.
Here, take this and take a radio.
Okay.
Yo, you guys alright?
I'll put it lower. That's creepy.
Yeah.
No? Okay. Let's go.
Hold up. Alright, Josh, listen.
Yeah.
Everyone right here, except for me and Mike.
Yeah.
Me, holding camera.
Right.
Mike, right here.
Yeah.
We're going into the mental, insane asylum, fucking whatever wing this is. Josh, Guy, you're staying out here. You guys got the walkie-talkies.
Don't leave this spot.
you want to split up?
If anything,
Split up, man, but I don't want
We're just gonna check it out. We'll be right back.
yeah, we're just gonna
don't
check
leave
this
spot.
out.
Go to the corner and then tell us what's down there.
Let's do this.
So he goes down this corridor and that makes like a right. He like kind of, you know, like, and we're like, whoa, what's wrong?
We got a bathroom, I think.
Bathroom.
A big fucking bathroom. A big bathroom full of nothing.
False alarm. Hey, look, everything's a little bit different in the dark, okay? Especially if the building is literally falling apart.
Around that corner, there's another hallway that leads into the lobby where all the stairs are. The lobby's scary, I'm just letting you know.
Alright, I want to see the lobby because that could possibly be the scariest thing I've ever seen.
So after that, we made our way up to the main floor, the lobby, where there were things written on everything. Horrible things, like knock 3 times next to a big hole in the wall.
That is the scariest smiley face I've ever seen. I want the camera to see this smiley face. See that smiley face? That is not a fucking happy smiley face. I want to show this in Drama Club. Hey Drama Club, this is for you.
And one thing that I never saw until scrubbing through the footage today, one essential clue to what we would experience by the end of the night that we totally overlooked for the past 20 years. You can only see it for a brief second, but written in the side of the stairwell, it says, "There are demons upstairs." And if you're a longtime follower of Haunting Season, maybe you know where this is going, but what we experienced after getting to that top floor, well, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I was saying like, oh yeah, I bet Dan, if you knock 3 times, like an arm would come through and just rip you through the wall and we'd never see you again. He goes, yeah, I'm not afraid. He reached up and that was the moment when we started to hear things.
Yeah, the lobby was just a mess, and I remember there was a window you could kind of see out of, and just really eerie, really creepy in there, and just kind of imagine when you in a horror movie and you hear the water dripping, that slow drip just echoing, and just all the sounds. It's just really surreal.
And all of a sudden, we can hear creaks all around us. The building literally coming alive.
And this is exactly how I remember it too. It was a completely different building after he knocked on those walls.
We walked through this place and I met with all kinds of sinister and demonic graffiti and strange pianos and laughter and voices. And to me, that was all craziness and nonsense, but at the end of it, we ended up ascending a staircase.
They weren't too wide, and I remember for the most part, we kind of stayed behind each other. So there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4.
Dan in front with the camera. In between Guy and Josh, I held up the rear.
I like how I'm the first one every time. I was the first one last time too.
I want to take a small pause here for a second, just to take a breath and to tell you about my new venture on Patreon. You see, I had this realization the other day that I want to make more meaningful content. And to be honest, for the past year, I've been drafting up TV show pilots and feature films and short films, and I'm at the point where the only thing missing is a little bit of funds to make some of those smaller things start to happen. Storytelling is how I got into this in the first place, and after almost 3 years on TikTok making short form content about other people's people's films, I'm ready to get back into what makes me the person that I am today, and that's telling scary stories. But it takes a lot of time and effort to make this stuff, and if I'm ever gonna scale up, I need a little bit of money to make these things happen. I don't want to do a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo. I just want to actually build something together as a community, and that's why I started one on Discord. Linked through my Patreon, the Discord provides a safe space, free of gatekeeping, hateful comments, and judgment. It's a positive place for all people who love horror and want to be a part of building something larger. In there, you get direct access to me as well as 150 other horror creators, and we are all talking shop, sharing ideas and advice, supporting each other, and growing every day. All the money that comes in goes towards making content like this, longer form, story-based video essays, vlogs, deep dives, and films. You can check it out if you like. There are multiple tiers that are really affordable, and if you don't have it in your means to support Haunting Season in that way, in a financial way, don't worry. The content will be here as always through YouTube, TikTok, or wherever Haunting Season goes next. But just $3 a month from the right amount of people could mean that we have a kick-ass horror short on our hands sooner rather than later. But enough about that. Let's get back to the lobby of Hilltop.
So we start making our way up the stairwell. Staircase, landing, staircase, landing. And the noises, all the time getting louder, the dripping. I don't think it was actually getting louder. I think we were just becoming more and more aware of it.
Oh shit. Wow.
This is the top.
This is the top.
And I know for a fact, the memory, that Dan was up front at the top of the stairs with the camera, the first one, the number one guy. There was nobody in front of him. There was nobody to the sides of him. We were all behind him.
And so we're standing there, like a bunch of third graders on a field trip heading to the bathroom, holding each other by the belt loops. And, well, we didn't notice it right away, but as Dan zooms into one of the rooms with the door slightly ajar, something bright and white walks past the camera.
That door wasn't closed last time I was here. What the fuck was that?
We were never really sure what it was. I think it might have been a few days until we actually got the mini DV tape transcoded and into my editing software. But once we saw it, we watched it over and over and over again. We went frame by frame, which didn't show much, but when you watched it at full speed, to us back then, we were pretty sure we knew what we were looking at.
Looking at that tape later, there's something else going on there. A white figure passes by the camera very briefly for about 2 or 3 seconds. And you can kind of make out what I see as a face, an ear, a tie, and maybe a lab coat. Now, we didn't see it that night, but obviously there was something else going on that our eyes couldn't see. Only a third eye could see it, if you will. It was there. It was on the camera. I haven't looked at that tape in years, almost 10 years. I just recently came upon it. My brother was actually securing it for me while I was away, and I watched it again tonight with Guy, and there it was again. And it wasn't I didn't feel any different than I did the first time I saw it.
All of a sudden, we hear this maniacal laughter. It just kind of sounds like a crazy person. It was, and we all just kind of like, did you hear that? And it was just, yeah, we all definitely heard it.
But we heard laughter, and we heard noises, which could have been creaking in the wall, could have been, somebody in a room laughing.
Just like that. It's echoing. And it sounds all the way at the end of the hallway, but it also sounds right here at the same time. And it also sounds like it's echoing all around us.
Who's laughing? Did you hear that? We gotta go downstairs. Watch in front, watch in front. Stairs are there, watch in front. Go ahead, start heading down.
We all had a pit in our stomachs, and we knew we had strayed far too far inside the building. We were in danger up here, and it was time to go. We moved cautiously, but quickly down the steps.
Through the lobby, down the stairs, out into the snow. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And when we finally clear the fence, we turn around, and Guy has his flashlight up at the window.
It's moving again. It was fucking moving again. Oh my god. There is fucking something up there.
Let's go back in and find out.
Someone in that window.
They keep moving, bro.
There.
Something just moved into that door. Something just walked around that door and went in, like it was standing there watching us. And I swear to God, I just saw something walk in there, like slow.
And then we ran. We ran like I'd never run again in my life. Not before, not after. I remember looking back at Guy as he fell in the snow, and there was just this dark shape coming towards us like it was floating across the snow. I've never been so scared in my entire life. And as we made it to the pavement on the main street, past the gate in the front, our confidence started to come back.
Chill.
It's too suspicious.
Did you see that? Someone fucking came after us.
I know, I saw it too.
Somebody fucking came after us.
Let's get in our cars. Fucking get home.
That's not fucking cool.
We got it all tonight.
I told you there's someone fucking up there.
Okay, breathe. Retake. Here's what happened. We go to Hilltop. We go inside. Fucking, it's all right. We get the 5th floor. Start hearing laughs. Start hearing moans. Oh, like that. I see somebody in the window. So we start getting the fuck out of there. Person starts chasing us. We're walking. They're walking. We get outside. They start fucking running after us. That's what happened. All that confusion. Oh, shit. Now we're getting the hell out of here. Peace out, motherfuckers. I wasn't scared I was in the building. We got outside the building. I realized what I was in. And this fucking, I believe in ghosts. There's ghosts in there, I swear to God, and they were chasing us, or somebody was. We got away from them though. Because that might be the scariest place here. We're the bravest people. So they can go fuck themselves.
That's it. We're back at our cars. Just hope you enjoy this.
To this day, 20 years later, that night sits crystal clear in my memory as if it happened yesterday. It was a moment in time that changed the complete course of my life. It solidified to me, even in the young state that I was in, that there is something out there after we die. And I was determined to figure out what it was. I visited Hilltop 2 more times as a teen, both in college and with new friends. But because of the legend being told around New Jersey, it became more and more popular of a spot to go to. The magic wasn't there when you knew you might bump into another pair of teens in the dark looking to try and scare you. It became too noisy for the ghosts, and eventually it suffered from another fire, which made the walls weak and even more dangerous. And eventually the entire property was flattened to make room for a new building. In the passing weeks from when we went, Dan, Mike, Guy, and I told our story 100 times. I started to go see horror movies in the movie theater, The Ring and Signs being some of the first. I watched my friends graduate. I went to college. I started my career in filmmaking. And then one day, about 10 years after our visit to Hilltop, I got the idea for haunting season and recorded this first story as a test. Even though haunting season has taken many different forms over the past few years, the mission has always been the same: to tell scary stories, to create a community, and to continue to evolve as a storyteller. And that's exactly what I plan to continue doing. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, the few and the mighty that are helping me take this next leap into the future. In the coming months and years, you can expect much more content like this, as well as short films and eventually feature films, and I'm working hard every single day to get those things off the ground. If you want to support Haunting Season, you can subscribe here, follow on TikTok or Instagram, and check out the Patreon page. And please let me know in the comments if you have any feedback for me. I'll see you next time, and remember, we're more likely to survive if we stick together.